How do all good stories start? Oh, I know. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl. And everybody liked her. None more so than her grandmother. Who one day made her a bright red riding cloak with a bright red hood. And the little girl liked her bright red riding cloak with its bright red hood so much that she wore it day in and day out, day in and day out, until by and by she became known as Little Red Riding Hood. She lived in a house near a forest. With her mother. One day, her mother packed a basket full of food for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother, who lived on the other side of the forest. Now remember, said her mum, go straight there. Don't dawdle, don't stray from the path, and don't talk to strangers. Yes, Mum, replied Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood was about halfway through the forest when what should step out onto the path in front of her but a wolf. "What are you doing so far into the forest?" asked the wolf, trying to sound as friendly as possible. I'm on my way to Grandma's house." "Oh, and where might Grandma live?" "Oh, at the end of this path." The wolf saw an opportunity to eat both Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. "Why do you hurry so much, little girl?" said the wolf. "Look around you at the beauty of the forest, the way the sunlight shines through the leaves, the beautiful flowers." Sure enough, there were some very beautiful flowers in between the trees. And Little Red Riding Hood forgot her promise to her mother, and she left the forest path. For the first time, Little Red Riding Hood really looked around her at the forest. She heard the birds singing in the trees. She saw the way the light made pretty patterns on the mossy floor. And she saw a beautiful flower. "Granny will love this flower," thought Little Red Riding Hood, picking it and adding it to her basket. And then she saw another, an even prettier flower a little further away. She picked that one too. Oh, and then she saw another one. Oh, and another. Meanwhile, the wolf had arrived at Grandmother's house. He knocked on the door. "Oh my, who could it be?" asked Grandmother. "Oh dear, oh my." shortly after the wolf had climbed into bed, Little Red Riding Hood came to the door, her basket full of food and now flowers too. The wolf tried to copy Granny's voice. "Oh, my... oh, my, who could it be?" "It's me, Granny." She could scarcely recognise her grandmother. "Your voice sounds odd, Granny." Yes, I've got a cold." "Grandma, what big ears you have." "All the better to hear you with." "Grandma, what big eyes you have." "All the better to see you with." "Grandma, what big teeth you have." "All the better to eat you with." Now, it just so happened that a woodcutter was passing by and heard the commotion. He often popped in on Granny because she lived on her own and he wanted to make sure she was okay. And he chased the wolf away.
"Oh, no! Oh, run! Oh, get you! Go on! Run away! Get out of it!"
Little Red Riding Hood was shaken, but she was okay. And so was Granny, who'd been hiding in the cupboard all this time. Together they ate all the food Little Red Riding Hood had brought. And the flowers looked very nice in Grandmother's vase. Now, how do all good stories end? Oh, yes. And they all lived happily ever after. The end.